Man, yeah, man, yeah, man. What's good with y'all, people? What's good with y'all? How is everybody doing? How is everybody doing? That's your boy Harlem, and I'm back with another video. On today's video, there's gonna be a trade breakdown, or there's gonna be my review. Like I said, I'll be having a review on 10 pairs which are on my trading portfolio. NAS, gold, German 30, US 30, USD CAD, Tesla, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and oil. You feel me? I'll be having trade breakdowns or reviews on all of those pairs, those 10 pairs, where I'll be looking for the next direction, either for the next 6 months or for the entire year. We just don't know. We anticipate and we look for what we can look for and do what the market is showing us or letting us do. Without further ado, people, let's not keep a lot and let's put more action. So today we're working on German 30, the Xetra DEX. German 30, DEX 30, Xetra DEX. That depends on what you call it. German 30, you all know what it is. Top 30 companies. Also, I think it's auto. Yeah, I think it's auto companies in the United States, auto and industrial companies in the United States, which include BMW, Benz, yeah, and so on and so forth. I just don't know all of them, but like I know the ones which I understand. So now let's look at German 30 from the monthly time frame. German 30, we can tell that price has been pushing in what higher highs and in higher lows. Price has been in a clean uptrend, right? We can't dispute that. We can't lie about that. So now with price having this one right there, and then price pushed, came back right there and started pushing, came back and pushed, creating some sort of a support, and then pushed again, pushed, broke out again, came back and spiked, broke out again, came back for retest above, and price started pushing, making those all-time highs, right? So now when you see this, you can tell that like price has printed out some sort of a what, some sort of a support. So from price pushing right there, hitting those all-time highs on that 16,000, I think it's the 16,000, yeah, the 16,000 level. Price hitting those all-time highs on that 16,000 mark. So let's look at the reason why we had a market crash last year. Price has been moving sideways, right? Before anything that you see to the downside, price has been moving sideways to the upside. So price kind of like had something like a push and a correction. Obviously, with some type of correction, you know, people that I always talk about this, we're anticipating a continuation to the upside, but price failed breaking what the all-time high resistance zone and started what crashing to the downside. I repeat, price had a push and price started moving sideways. Price couldn't break the resistance, and fortunately or unfortunately, price reversed to the downside. That's one of the reasons why it did. So I will break down to other time frames like the weekly and the daily and the 4 hour, so you can understand what I'm talking about. So now when price now closed below this very same zone right there, when price closed below that zone, you can tell we had an engulfing candle and price started spiking right there. Price started spiking and price started pushing to the downside, creating some sort of what, some sort of an intraday support zone for getting this major one, some sort of an intraday support, which is like a 2022 support zone from German 30. I repeat, this is a 2022 support zone on German 30, right? And this right there, it's our resistance zone for 2022 on German 30. We have a 2022 support, we have a 2022 resistance. And looking at the thing and looking at this, we can tell that like price had 2 months of pushing to the upside, right? Came back to our resistance zone, respected the resistance zone, and pushed to the downside. But unfortunately, the bulls were still in charge of the charts. Price did what? Price closed above our 2022 resistance zone. I repeat, people, price was tapping in on resistance. Price pushed. Price impulsively pushed to the upside, coming back to our resistance. And price did what? Respected the resistance and dropped. But fortunately or unfortunately, the bulls were still in control of the charts. They pushed price to close above our major support. So obviously, with a break of a resistance, with a break of resistance or break of support, price needs to pull back before you can look for continuations to the upside. That's a fact. This is like textbook forex, people. This is textbook forex. When price breaks a certain zone, whether it's your supply, your demand, your support, your resistance, your bullish flag, your bear flag, your head and shoulders, your neckline, whatever that it is that price broke out of, there's a higher chance or higher confirmation or higher confluence that price needs to come back for a retest before we can have a continuation to the upside or to the downside, depending on where price broke out. So in this instance, price broke out of our 2022 major resistance, boom, closed above. The only thing we're waiting for is for price to come back for a retest before we can look for continuations to the upside. Like I say, price had a push. With this push, we need to look forward for an exhaustion phase or pullback or a lower or a higher low formation before we can look forward for continuations to the upside. I spoke about this on gold on the previous video on how I took a trade on our review on gold. I think I'll leave a link or I'll leave a page right there so you guys can see it. I did indicate that like price has been pushing to the upside with no higher low formation from the monthly time frame. What we're looking for is for what? For price to pull back on the monthly time frame before you can look for continuation to the upside. You understand me? That's it. That's textbook forex. Besides people, besides you guys, or besides we looking for an exhaustion phase or pullback or a high low formation, price needs to come back for a retest of our what? Of our resistance, which price closed above. You understand me? So meaning when price comes back for a retest, that will be our pullback, our exhaustion phase, or our higher low formation, anticipating price will continue to the upside. So my major take or my major role on German daily is that price would at least come back for a retest, continue to the upside. But coming back to our major our all-time high resistance, I don't know what will happen from there, but all I can say is I don't think price will break out of the resistance zone as of yet. And at the same time, what's making me say this is the geopolitics that we have, the inflation numbers, job numbers, PMI numbers, inflation numbers, industrial numbers, manufacturing numbers, and we mostly still have the war. We still have an ongoing war. You understand me, people? So we can technically look for all-time highs, but fundamentally, I don't think it's the right time to confirm everything that I'm looking for. You follow me, people? So I say it again. Price had a push. We need to look for what? An exhaustion phase or pullback or a retest of price or of a break of our what? Of our major resistance before we can look for continuations to the upside. Coming back to our all-time highs, I don't know what will happen. Will price close above or will price still close below or faithful to break and look for those what reversals to the downside? So my take from the monthly time frame is we need to see or we need to look forward for price to pull back, for price to exhaust, or for price to have a higher low formation before we can look for continuations to the upside. So looking at the weekly time frame. So from the weekly time frame, we're only looking at how price closed on specific zones. They will have a close above, a close below, an impulsive breakout, a fail to break. Those are the things I would be looking for, right? So we can tell that like price has been moving sideways right there, right? Until we had a close below. So with the close below, price pushed, created the 2022 low, price pushed to the upside, creating some sort of resistance right there with the double top or whatever that you can say it is. Price pushed again, spiked twice on our support zone, on our major on our all-time low, 2022 all-time low, creating some sort of support. Price pushed until it broke out and broke back in and continued to the upside. So looking at my current price, we can tell that like price is a push phase and an exhaustion and a push phase. Let's look for an exhaustion before we can have a continuation push phase. I repeat, price is a push and exhaustion. We're looking for and had a push again. Now we're looking or expecting a push and an exhaustion before we can anticipate continuation push phase to the upside. Or I can say price at a higher high and a higher low and a higher high. We need a pullback or an exhaustion phase or a retest of that zone, anticipating a new higher low, anticipating price continuing to the upside. Even on the weekly time frame, you can tell how price has been respecting this zone. right there, people. You can tell how price has been respecting that zone. Price has been tapping again, pushed until, oh, unfortunately, price closed above. So with a retest, the pullback or higher low formation would anticipate continuation to the upside. What will happen from our all-time high, people? I still don't know. Will we break out? Will we fail to break? Will we respect that zone and push to the downside? I just don't know. So all I can say is from the weekly time frame, because price had a push, an exhaustion, and a push, would look for an exhaustion, anticipating what? A continuation push to the upside. That's all. That's also what I'm looking for from the weekly time frame. Price at a push phase and an exhaustion phase and a push phase again. Let's anticipate a push. Let's anticipate an exhaustion of price having a retest of this very same zone in anticipation of a continuation push phase to the upside. So what I'm looking for from the monthly and what I'm looking for from the weekly, it's kind of like correlating, people. You can film it. We are looking for that pullback or that high low formation in anticipation of what? Continuation to the upside. Looking at the daily. So on the daily time frame, I'm only focusing on zones, right? I'm showing you guys zones. So price has been moving sideways. This was the zone which price has been reacting from right there. When you say price has been moving sideways, price has been tapping on our support. Price has been tapping on our support and pushing to the upside until we had a close below, and price continued below, came back for a retest right there. You can tell price came back for a retest and did what? And continued to the downside, creating some sort of a resistance, some sort of that 2022 resistance. And looking at that downside, you can tell how it was also creating that the 2022 support zone. So now, when price came back, when price pulled back impulsively to that very same zone, what I was looking for, or what I was saying right there, it was price was having some sort of a bullish flag. Price had some sort of a bullish flag. You understand me? Price had some sort of a bullish flag continuation pattern. You understand me? So from price pushing and reacting from our resistance, starting to exhaust and to correct, price had a continuation push to the upside. This is a bullish flag, people, or this is how a bullish flag looks like at an overall. Price has a push and price has a correction and price has a continuation push. Understand me, people? That's how it is. That's what it is. So from our support zone, so from this push phase, price started exhausting, or price started correcting from right there, creating some sort of a bullish flag until price had to close above of our major resistance. So from price closing above our 2022 resistance, with now price closing above, or price having a continuation push, and price started moving sideways. You can also go check out I think it was my 2 weeks or 3 weeks of my weekly outlook, which I've been saying that German 30 is moving sideways. The only time I'm looking to take a trade, it's if price breaks below or price breaks above. I'll take continuation trades from what price breaks out. If price break below, break above, I'll take continuation trades based on that direction. So with a push and a correction, price chose to close where? Above, right? So obviously with a close above, we need a retest in anticipation of what? Continuation to the upside. But remember, people, that from my weekly and my monthly, I'm still looking for price to do what? To pull back or to exhaust or to have that higher low formation before we can look for continuations to the upside. So when something is like this, what I usually do is that I look at what previous zones right there. I look at what previous zones. This would be my first zone. This would be my second zone. I believe that if price reacted on this first zone, this would be the zone where I believe that price will do what? Will exhaust or pull back before it can continue to the upside. But if price continues above, this would be the second zone I'm looking for price to pull back or to exhaust from before we can look for what? For that pullback or that high-low formation in continuation to what? To the upside with my overall direction. So from the daily time frame, all I can say is price has reacted to the previous lower high. You can say it's a previous lower high, or you can say price was still moving sideways, right? So price reacting from that very same zone. What we can say, if price reacted from that zone, if you are going to get that pullback or the exhaustion phase or that high-low formation from that zone, let it be it. let it be, people, if price will pull back. The only time that we'll put our money to play on German 30 is once price gives us what? That bullish continuation or that signal that we are continuing to the upside from this very same zone, and look for what? For continuation trades to the upside. So that's my take on the weekly time frame. On the daily time frame, price had a what? Had a push phase, and price had a correction, creating a what? A bullish flag, and price did what? Continued to the upside and had a correction, and price closed above. So with a close above, because price is reacting on the previous zone, if price will react from the previous zone, giving us the daily, giving us the weekly and the monthly pullback or exhaustion phase, let it be it, people. Let it be it. Let it be it. We're not forcing trades. We're not looking for too much conferences to add on our trades, or we're not looking for many reasons to why we need to take a trade. We simply look for what price is doing and what we anticipate price will do, and that will be it. You follow me, people? So from the 4 hour, that will be my last. This will be my last time frame which I use. And from this time frame, I'm only looking at what happened on the left side in anticipation of what might happen on the right. Right. So now price had a what? A reaction from that zone. Price created this high right there, right? Price had a push, creating this high, and dropped, came back again, creating another high, not higher than the previous high, and price pushed, came back again, creating a high, not higher than the previous high, and price pushed. So what I basically mean is that price has been giving us what? Higher lows, lower highs and lower lows, lower highs and lower lows, lower highs and lower lows. And that's the direction which price was giving me, people. Price has been moving in what? Lower lows and lower highs, lower lows and lower highs, right? So if price had this double top kind of formation right there, and we are looking for what? A possible pullback or an exhaustion phase from that very same zone. If prices reacted from that very same zone, let it be it that we are looking for what? For those potential reversals or for those downtrends, people. Let it be it. Let us take those trades and let us respect what the market is doing. You follow me, people? So from the 4 hour, I'm also not looking for much. I'm only looking for what? For where price will react, the zones which price will react. Is it going to be this first zone which price will react from to have that daily or that will pull back or higher low or exhaustion phase, or will price continue and react from this zone with a what? A clean double top from the daily and the 4 hour in anticipation of what? Of a pullback or a higher low or an exhaustion phase formation, giving us what? Continuation trades to the upside. So people, this is my take. These are the things that I'm looking for. I'm not looking for much. I'm not looking for less. I'm only looking to continue with what? With pure price action. What price is doing, I'm only looking for continuation trades from what price is doing. You follow me? Price had a break above. Price had a close above of our major 2022 resistance zone, not our all-time high resistance, our 2022 major resistance zone. So with price closing above, we need that daily and we need that weekly and that monthly pullback, so we can take what? Continuation trades to the upside if price will respect that zone and react from it. But if price breaks back in and closes below again, then I don't know what will happen, people. So this is my take. These are the things that I'm looking for. Continuation trades to the upside with price pulling back, creating a higher low, creating that exhaustion phase or that pullback in anticipation of what? Continuation trades to the upside. This is all I got, people. Like I say, this is what? A 6-month or yearly movement. You follow me? I don't know what will happen if price reaches that all-time high resistance. Will we break? Will it close above? I don't know, people. All I can say is I'm only using what I see, current price, working on what I see, working on what I understand, and working on what I believe might happen next. That's all I got, people. That's all I got, people.